It was a crisp, clear morning on the outskirts of a bustling town. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow onto the dew-kissed grass. A mild breeze rustled via the bushes, filling the air with the sweet fragrance of spring. The birds sang their morning songs, and the occasional laughter of kids playing in a close-by park drifted through the air. Despite the idyllic scene, one discern stood out a number of the peaceful landscape. His tall, muscular form towered over the timber, casting a long shadow on the floor. His skin changed into a deep color of blue, almost iridescent in the morning light, and his wings, which stretched nearly 20 feet from tip to tip, were tipped with sensitive silver feathers. This turned into no ordinary being. He changed into an alien prince, bored with his royal obligations and seeking solace on an international far from domestic. The prince, whose call changed into wrath, were looking humanity for hundreds of years. From his domestic planet of Xiron, he had witnessed the rise and fall of limitless civilizations. However, none had interested him pretty like the human beings of Earth. Their potential for love, pleasure, and sorrow, in addition to their apparently countless resilience inside the face of adversity, captivated him. He longed to revel in their global first-hand. Finally, not able to endure the burden of his royal obligations any further, Vrath made the choice to depart his domestic at the back of an adventure to Earth. He knew that disguising his actual form would be essential to mixing in with the human population, so he shrunk his wings and tail, modified his pores and skin shade to a greater human-like color of blue, and grew a pair of prosthetic legs. With those changes, he was hoping that he might be able to live amongst humans undetected. As he stood there, taking within the attractions and sounds of Earth for the primary time, Vrath could not assist but experience a feel of exhilaration and anticipation welling up inside him. He failed to recognize what the destiny held for him in this peculiar and wondrous planet, however he became decided to make the most of it. Deciding to begin his new life in a small city in which he ought to combo in more easily, Vrath made his manner to a nearby bus prevent. As he waited for the bus, he could not assist but overhear the conversations of the human beings round him. They pointed out their jobs, their households, and their goals, and he observed himself fascinated by the mundanity in their lives. Yet despite the ordinary nature of their days, there has been an underlying modern day of contentment and happiness that Vrath could not help however envy. Finally, the bus arrived, and Vrath boarded, taking a seat close to the returned. As he appeared out the window, he noticed the familiar buildings and shops of his new domestic pass by means of. He had chosen a city not a ways from a huge metropolis, hoping to revel in the first class of each worlds, the peace and quiet of the geographical region and the bustle and power of city lifestyles. As the bus pulled into the city middle, Vrath took a deep breath and stepped off, his wings and tail once again seen to the arena. He knew that this became step one towards honestly residing amongst humans and embracing all that this atypical new global had to offer. With willpower in his heart and a feel of adventure in his soul, he set out to discover his new domestic, eager to find out all that lifestyles on Earth had in shop for him. He wandered down the primary street, admiring the nicely kept shops and the pleasant faces that passed him by. He stopped at a small cafe, deciding that he may want to use a cup of espresso to help him locate his bearings. As he sat down at a desk, he noticed a group of humans accumulated around a chessboard within the nook, deep in conversation and debate. Intrigued, he walked over to have a look at them. Good day, one and all them said, looking up at Vrath. You should be new around here. I'm Jason. These are my pals. He gestured to the others at the desk. Vrath smiled and delivered himself, accepting the introductions as well. Jason seemed to take a liking to him, inviting him to join their sport of chess. Vrath, who had continually been fond of method and tactics, gladly widespread the invitation. For the following couple of hours, Vrath discovered himself immersed within the global of chess, getting to know from Jason and his buddies, and teaching them approximately his own tradition in return. There became an experience of camaraderie and friendship that he hadn't skilled in a long term, and he felt more at home with these strangers than he had along with his very own kind. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the metropolis, Vrath realized that this became the life he had constantly wanted. He had located an area in which he may want to belong, wherein he will be himself, and in which he may want to enjoy all of the wonders that Earth needed to provide. With a newfound experience of purpose and determination, he bid his new buddies farewell, promising to go back soon for another game. As he walked away, he couldn't help, however, sense a sense of optimism and pleasure welling up internal him. The sky changed into painted with colorations of purple and orange, and the air turned into full of the sounds of laughter and verbal exchange. It changed into then that Vrath knew that his journey to Earth became not a mistake, but alternatively, the beginning of an amazing journey. He became without a doubt home. Vrath spent the following couple of weeks exploring his new town, making buddies, and studying approximately human customs. He observed paintings at a nearby bookshop, where he could indulge his love for literature and percentage his knowledge of different worlds with curious customers. Evenings have been spent on the local park, where he performed frisbee with new pals or attended poetry readings inside the open-air amphitheater. One evening, as he sat on a park bench watching the solar set, he observed a lovely woman on foot closer to him. Her long, flowing hair caught the light, and her green eyes sparkled like emeralds. She regarded to hesitate earlier than drawing close him, and for a moment, Vrath questioned if she changed into as nervous as he become. Hello, as she stated softly, her voice like track to his ears. My call is Emily. You're the brand new guy on the town proper. Vrath smiled and introduced himself. They spent the rest of the night speaking below the stars, sharing tales and laughter. As they grew nearer, Vrath observed himself falling in love with Emily, and he knew that she felt the identical manner. The months that followed have been a number of the happiest of Vrath's existence. He and Emily were inseparable, and their love best regarded to grow more potent with every passing day. They talked of marriage and kids, of constructing a life together in their little nook of the sector. But whilst he located happiness on this new existence, Vrath never forgot who he was and wherein he came from. One day, as they walked through the park, Vrath instructed Emily approximately his authentic identification, about the galaxy he had left at the back of, and the obligation that also referred to as to him. At first, she turned into stunned and stressed, however as he spoke, she started out to understand. She held his hand tightly, her eyes filled with love and resolution. In no rely what occurs, she stated softly, I'll constantly be by way of your side. Together, they confronted the demanding situations that lay ahead, navigating the complicated net of human politics and intrigue. Vrath endured to work for the coolest of his people, the use of the understanding and abilities he had received on Earth to make a distinction within the wider galaxy. And through it all, Emily became there, her love and support a beacon of hope inside the darkness. As the years handed, Vrath and Emily's love story became the stuff of legend. They traveled the world, experiencing all that it needed to offer, and alongside the manor, they touched the lives of countless people. They never forgot their humble beginnings in that quiet little town. However, in addition, they never forgot the classes that they had discovered and the buddies they'd made. Eventually, their story got here to and cease, as all memories should. But the effect they had on those round them lived on, inspiring endless others to pursue their desires, to follow their hearts, and to discover love and belonging inside the most unexpected places. And inside the sizable expanse of the universe, their names have been etched into the annals of history as a testament to the electricity of affection and the indomitable human spirit. The discovery of the misplaced colony weighed closely on Vrath's heart. He knew that he could not definitely abandon them, even as he felt the pull of his own people and the obligations that got here with them. In the quit, he determined to remain on Earth, serving as a bridge between his worlds. He labored tirelessly to assist the lost colony integrate into the human society they had been hiding within, at the same time as additionally maintaining touch together with his domestic planet and ensuring that their unique lifestyle and heritage had been preserved. Emily, information the gravity of the state of affairs and the sacrifices that Vrath had to make, remained via his aspect, assisting him in each way she ought to. Together, they raised a circle of relatives, providing to their youngsters the values that they had learned for the duration of their adventures and the affection that they had for each in their houses. The years passed, and Vrath and Emily grew old collectively, their faces coated with the understanding and experience of existence nicely lived. But even as they approached the quit of their adventure, they discovered solace in understanding that they'd left the sector a better area than they had located it. They had shown that love may want to triumph over all, that even the best of distances couldn't separate souls destined to be together. And ultimately, that turned into the best present they may have ever given to the universe. The discovery of the misplaced colony had been a revelation, a reminder of the vastness of the cosmos and the limitless possibilities that lay beyond their very own world. The individuals of the colony, having lived in secret for generations, have been understandably hesitant to reveal their life to the sector. They had built new lives for themselves, began households, and created their personal specific culture within the confines of human society. Vrath, but could not carry himself to abandon them. He knew that he had a responsibility to his human beings, to help them navigate the complicated web of politics and intrigue that become inevitable once their life have become known. Emily, expertise the load of those duties, stood through his side, supplying her unwavering aid and love. Together, they would face something challenges lay in advance. One thing had become clear to Vrath as he met with the elders of the lost colony. They were now not the equal folks that had left his domestic world all those years in the past. They had been now not the proud warriors and scholars who had forged a notable empire. They were now not the individuals who had entrusted him with their fate. They had been now a part of something large, something extra complicated. They were human. And in accepting this new identity, they must grapple with the ethical implications of disclosing themselves to the arena. As they discussed the opportunities, Vrath and Emily knew that there was no easy answer. They couldn't really erase the beyond or deny their background. But nor should they continue to be hidden for all time. Eventually, they could have to make a preference, to embody their alien identification or to maintain residing in secrecy. The decision, they knew, might shape the direction in their lives and the lives of endless others for generations to come back. In the quit, they determined to take things slowly. They could start by way of attaining out to other contributors of Vrath's home planet, sharing what that they had learned and in search of steering. They could build bridges between their two worlds, forging a route for destiny generations to comply with. And through all of it, they might remain steadfast in their love for each other and their dedication to making a distinction within the universe. Vrath and Emily knew that their decision would no longer sit properly with everyone. There would be individuals who would resist their efforts, who would grasp to the old ways and fear the unknown. But they also knew that they could not let the hatred and bigotry of others outline their future. They would retain to combat for a better the following day, for international in which love and understanding triumphed over fear and lack of understanding. As they started their adventure, they had been met with mixed reactions. Some saw them as heroes, brave sufficient to get up for what they believed in regardless of the risks. Others saw them as traitors, betraying their domestic international, for the sake of a set of aliens they slightly knew. But Vrath and Emily did not permit the hatred of others deter them. They knew that trade would not come effortlessly, and that they could need to be affected person. The years surpassed, and slowly however their message began to spread. They spoke at rallies, wrote articles, or even regarded on information applications, sharing their tale and their imaginative and prescient for a brighter destiny. They met with politicians and network leaders, urging them to look past the differences that separated them and to recognition at the not unusual humanity that bound them collectively. It changed into no longer an easy street, and there have been many setbacks alongside the way. There have been instances, once they doubted themselves and their assignment. But via it all, they clung to each different, finding power of their love and their shared willpower to make a distinction. And as they fought for a higher the next day, they commenced to see the fruits in their hard work, as increasingly more people started out to include their message of desire and team spirit. In the end, Vrath and Emily's efforts paid off. The lost colony was officially recognized by the government of Vrath's home planet, and relations between the two groups continued to improve. They had shown that love could conquer all, that even the greatest of distances could not separate two souls destined to be together. And in the end, that was the greatest gift they could have ever given to the universe.